Hello, good afternoon.
Hi, my son. Good
Uh,
afternoon.
Good afternoon. Sorry for I was moving from the meeting room to the office. Okay,
No,
thanks.
it's fine. How
Okay.
is the thing? How is Rukara? Are you doing well?
Yeah, we are doing well and missing you.
Okay, I still think I'll jump on and do a visit.
Oh, you are most welcome.
Okay.
Mm.
So let us know if you are ready to start the presentation. We are here waiting for you.
Yes, I'm ready.
Good. Colleagues, friends, we are happy today to have Dr. Marson. He's a senior lecturer from the College of Education working in applied sciences, and he's also teaching biology in the Department of Mathematics and Science Education. So he's going to share with us new skills, maybe those who are working in the area of water and water biodiversity are feeling very comfortable with him. But also it is an opportunity for us to learn new things. So without delaying and taking much time, let us give him the floor for the presentation and maybe for a deep introduction because I did it briefly. Dr. Marsori, you are welcome. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Thank you, Dr. Venice, for introducing. Let me share the screen. Can you see my screen? Okay. Let me go inside the screen.
Okay, okay, it's fine now. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So, as he introduced me, I'm Dr. Marcin Oliteba from the University of Rwanda College of Education and also in the Center of Training Science and Mathematics Teachers with the Masters and PhD levels. Today, I'm going to talk about aquaculture and the global warming. Methane emissions from CARP. The outline of presentation is about the introduction, then I go to methodology, then I go to results and discussions, and then we have the floor to ask some questions. Here on my right side, you can see this study was carried out in ponds in Czech Republic. You can see they are natural water bodies. Actually, Czech doesn't have any, but they have big ponds they created around the 15th and 16th century to raise fish. So we have two categories. There's a big where we have big fishes and where we have small fishes. I have some few questions. I think all of you know what is the global warming, what are its causative agents, and also I would like to know if we have this system can contribute to the global warming. Hydropower dams, fish ponds, wetlands, forests, and mangroves. I don't know if someone can answer one of the questions, if it's allowed. The global warming. Hello, are we together?
Yes.
Yes, we are together.
Okay, is there any participant can tell us about what is the global warming? Okay, if nobody is there, then I can go ahead. Actually, the global warming is the increase of atmospheric temperature, and the causative agents, you have the emission of greenhouse gases such dioxide, the nitrous oxides, and other hydrocarbons. And then I wanted just to know if you have, because here dams, we can say they are green, they produce green energy. We can say fish ponds might be like the blue aquaculture, blue agriculture, where we don't produce methane. And wetlands, also we can think they are good, they are retaining our waters, they are producing other ecosystem services and functions. And also forests, we know, and mangroves. But if you go into details, you can see also that these systems can be contributing to warming, and inaction is needed so that we can mitigate their effects, in addition to other human activities of emitting greenhouse gases, such as the transport industries and so on. So freshwater environments, they play an important role in the global carbon cycle. The carbon cycle, the organic carbon is produced by plants, and also terrestrial systems. Part of it is going to go into water and it is recycled by microorganisms living there and other living organisms also, and also the sediment. Recently, some studies, they reveal that natural lakes, reservoirs, river systems especially, they are significant sources of methane emission to the atmosphere. However, data from small artificial water bodies used for aquaculture are scarce. That's why we undertook this study. And we know these small natural lakes, reservoirs, and fish ponds, they play in carbon cycling, and there are many distributed throughout the whole world, from the temperate to the tropical regions, in Europe, America, and all continents. So maybe you may think, how is that contributing to methane reduction in fish ponds? In fish ponds, we have fish, we have water, we have some plants growing there, and also we're adding feeds to feed our fish, but also we have some water coming for supply water to put in the fish ponds, but also we have runoff from the catchments. And once we put feed there, and also we add some manure to produce natural foods, there are some organic matter which is not consumed by the reared animals. As in our case, we have fish or crabs or shrimps, and this is going to settle down on the sediments. We have a nitroxic towards the top, but on the bottom we have anoxic conditions. During anoxic conditions produced through the degradation of organic matter. It starts by, it can be emitted from the fish ponds by bubbling, or by diffusion. But part of which is produced here, when it reaches the atmosphere, the oxic area, it's going to be again oxidized and then transformed into CO2. Let me also discuss about the system I worked in. We have CARP aquaculture in the Czech Republic is very common practices. Actually, they use the fish during Christmas time, and also they use this during the Easter period, and the Easter period, because they used to be good Catholics. They don't allow to eat meat. Sorry, and they're only eating fish. They have a semi-intensive aquaculture. This means they are relying on natural food from the system. These are algae, zooplankton, and macroinvertebrates. But with the increase of fish production, they started now introducing artificial feeds, and they use only cereals, wheat. They don't put manufactured feeds. It also is a polyculture system. They stock different types of fish. The major one is common carp. If you have your pond, 90% of the biomass of the stock will be composed of common carp. And also they can stock other fishes. These fishes occupy only 10% of the stock. We have the white perch, the carp, silver carp, white fish, tench. If some person with fish, you will notice that these fish, they don't have the same feeding habits. Some will be feeding on plants, macroplants, others feeding on zooplankton, others feeding on algae, and then others will be bottom feeders, others will be feeding on the surface. So we have two types of ponds. You have the nursery ponds where they put the young over here. It means they hatch. Once they hatch, they put in these small ponds to allow them to grow. And also have the main ponds where now for the second year they start stocking. They shift the fish from the nursery ponds to the main ponds, and usually the rearing cycle is for 4 years. This system, as you see, if you have agriculture, if you have semi-intensive aquaculture, they want to reduce competition for food, for fish feeding on different niche, different types of feed, and also they maximize the use of natural pond systems. That's why they're putting manure. The manure can get, and when the ponds are too shallow, then invertebrates also can grow there. But in how we want to use this competition, the soaking, then the water quality may remain safe during and runoff. Here, supply water, it means the water to stock the fish. And also, the Czech Republic is a country located in the central part of Europe. We don't have much rainfall. So we have only small rain during the summer, and also the other source of water is going to come from the snow, melting of snow during the season. And also because we have this challenge of water, the fish ponds are in a cascade. So we have upstream the first fish pond, which is going to be connected to the second one, and you can have in series about 10 connected ponds, and the water will be shifting from pond number 1 up to 10. So if you see like this consumed organic matter into the water. The other thing, we are putting the feed, the cereals. The cereals, the fish able to digest them properly. So they are producing many wastes. So the objective for this study was to determine and compare levels of dissolved and diffusive methane in nursery and fish ponds in South Crimea, is one region of Czech Republic. It's the south part of the country bordering Austria. And then you have investigators also the factors influencing dissolved and diffusive methane. Then you may ask yourself, what are you discussing about this? You remember with this reduction of greenhouse gas emissions, there is a target not to reduce the emission up to reduce the increase of temperature by 1.5 degrees Celsius. So if you look into the practices and the systems emit some methane, you look the reason why the methane, and then you can reduce, make some other fish pond managerial actions so that you can reduce this emission. And currently also we have a PhD student who is doing a research on the contribution of fish on methane and water quality deterioration in Lake Kivu and Lake Muhazi. So differences, before we go on, I can also give you some small difference between the main and the nursery ponds. I have already talked about this, but let me give more information about this. The main ponds, because we have big fish which need food, natural feed cannot manure to produce algae. And this also because all of it are not consumed, they are producing substrate for methanogenesis. But also they could put manure and this uneaten feed and fish species, then you're producing specific phytoplankton biomass that are not consumed because the zooplankton are only available right like from after the start of spring, but towards the end of the season they are all eaten by the fish and the phytoplankton are freely growing. But also we have adult fish. You cannot down. We see why I take this adult fish. I'm mentioning it because another factor also contributing to the dynamics of organic carbon processing in the fish pond. The nursery ponds, they are small in size. You don't put manure and you don't put supplementary feeding because you have only small fish eating only zooplankton and small invertebrates, and this is enough for their growth. And the young fish stocked there from from April up to October, and they are moved to big fishes for their wintering. So this is Saturday. I'm sorry for the map. My map are not well. So this is the Czech Republic in Central Europe. It's bordered by Germany. Germany, you know. Then we have Poland in the east. We have also Slovakia. They used to be one country, Czechoslovakia. Some of you might have heard about this, but after the destruction of communism, these countries got separated into two. Then in the south, we have Austria. And if you, this is the map here, very small, these are the ponds. All the blue dots here are fish ponds. We don't have any natural lakes. It's in the upper catchment of the Tava River near Cheskia. Budweiser, if some of you have some beer, they produce a good beer called Budweiser. Now it's owned by the Americans. We are in the south. South is where, if you can see my cursor, is somewhere near bordering Austria. From Czech Republic to the border of Austria is only 1 hour. And also I took these samples during when I select only 3 nursery ponds. Before the ponds, we have the same characteristics. We have other categories, but one it's another study. Nursery ponds, Beranov, Robichek, Zbierov, and then 3 main ponds, Kivitkovitsky, Posiminye, and Dechtar. As I said, these were created in the 15th and 16th century for fish production. There's also another management practices when they have too much of sediments into the pond, because they reduce the water volume, and also reduce the amount of dissolved oxygen, sediments are removed. As we study only sediment removed from Beranov, which is nursery ponds, and also from Kivitkovitsky, which is a main pond, Dechtar. While in Dechtar, Kosiminye, and the Robichek and Lihov, they have not made this kind of management because water quality probably is still in good conditions over here. So we took some measurements for water physical chemical parameters, so oxygen, temperature, pH, water transparency. These were just measured in situ using probes. Then some water samples were taken in the deepest part of the pond. It's where near they are putting feeds to measure the sort of organic carbon, dissolved nitrogen, soluble reactive phosphorus, nitrate, nitrogen, total suspended solid, total organic carbon, particulate organic carbon, and ammonium nitrogen, and then when we sample sediments, because these are many errors participating in the afterwards, we measure surface water, methane, emission. Here is a bed space technique. To where you pump some of the surface, you shake, you create air vacuum, then you shake. If you are shaking, the methane is mixed with atmospheric air, and then if there's any methane, it's going to be transferred into that one. Then you transfer the bottles, and this bottle methane analysis with gas graphene. And then we use the simple technique here for a gas exchange between using the 2-layer model, where F is the emission. We take the difference between solvent surface concentration of methane, then we minus carbon in equilibrium. It means how much is in equilibrium with the atmosphere. This means how many amount the concentration of methane in the atmosphere. If you have any difference here, it means the water has more concentration than the atmosphere, and this is K, is a coefficient for diffusion. So let us go to the results, and then we are going to discuss. You can notice here, these are physical chemical parameters from water. The dotted line are for main ponds, and then the continuous are for the nursery ponds. If we remember, nursery ponds have small fish. For main pond, we have big fish. If you can see the temperature, obviously between the temperature, we don't see any big difference. The temperature is increasing, the characteristics. Here is, we have dots here is in any month. We've been sampling every April. The temperature is very low because we are just quitting the winter, entering into the spring, and we're going to the summer. And after the temperature will decrease because we are again go for autumn, preparing for winter again. It's a cycle. The difference not too big there. The second one is pH. The pH at the beginning here, you see, both ponds have same things. But if now we go to the here to the main pond, you see the pH is decreasing. This it means because here much of the CO2 is being consumed by the fish, and they are expiring, and also we have the production of phytoplankton biomass. While in the pond, the pH we have is in atmosphere similar things because of the conditions are getting same. Here, someone here the algae are growing because the fish are in a nasal pond. The fish have eaten the zooplankton already, and then the phytoplankton can enjoy the atmosphere. But we have a big difference because to dissolve the oxygen. You see, the is decreasing sharply in the main ponds, while it remains higher in the nursery ponds because they have small fish. We have enough production of oxygen. We have good phytoplankton concentrations. Another thing you want to reduce the content of dissolved oxygen is also because we have a big fish. Actually, the carp pond, they have a behavior. They both can consume them. And also the algae are growing, and then they cover the top of the pond, and the production is being reduced. And also here we have to look at, we don't have green algae, you're going to have only cyanobacteria, which can cope with all the sources of oxygen because they have this buoyant. So they come to get oxygen from the atmosphere, and then they can survive and they cover the water column. We can see the same things also. TSS also is different because of these two reasons. Then transparency, you see in main pond, we have a high transparency because they are feeding, and even by here it is decreasing. While in nursery ponds, it's not. Well, now in these main ponds, they are remaining very low. Nursery ponds, you have transparency is higher towards the beginning, then to decrease as the this chlorophyll is growing. So the same trends you can see the difference because of these reasons. If you might have questions, then we can discuss it down. This is some of the dynamics. If you go to solve the reactive phosphorus, okay. So is all these characters are going to be higher in main ponds because of the dynamics, sediment distribution, and also the growth of phytoplankton, and also because we are adding also manure there, and also we are adding also feeds. Now, if you go to the sediments, the characteristics of the sediments were not really different between the type of ponds, because actually you see the ponds, they are interconnected, and also the sediment are not really affected by this. They are interconnected. We receive some inputs from upstream ponds, and sometimes you can pond which is connected to a nursery pond, and the sediment are staying longer. If you go now to the methane emissions, the first graph here is showing us concentration of methane, and this is like saturation, so showing here, and then down the C as the emission. Here we have comparison between The black are the conditions of the system was dormant. As the temperature starts to increase, we have still having some concentration. Almost here we have no difference. Also in this is April, in May we still have no difference. But once we go in June, July, and August, we still have the differences now. The concentration is increasing in the main ponds, because we talked about this. There is this biomass of algal mushrooms which is adding there. The fish are very active and also allowing from methane. The emission also is going to have a different. If you can see here in May, also there is no difference, but in nursery ponds we have a tendency to have higher emissions. In June, because we're expecting if we get it from main ponds into the sediments, is reducing the amount of methane which can be oxidized, and then it's not to be emit too much of this. Only the difference we're gonna see it in August, and then in September, the temperature going down, we still have the same things. But if you go, I suppose that if you go to carbon dioxide, then the trend is going to be different, because the methane is going to be produced is going to be transformed into carbon dioxide, and we can have a different trend. So in the terms of management, this is indicating, if you look at the parameters, the code of water chemistry parameters, they're indicating that the systems are not indicating to feeds that can be consumed by the fish. We can increase the consumption rate and utilization rate. So the biomass eaten must be transformed into the production of new fish, and also to take into consideration to look into the catchment, how the catchment is used. For example, there are some nutrients from the catchment area, we go fertilizers to reduce this, and also to look into reducing the number of fish that are stocked within the ponds, because the high stock, then you are putting you need to put more fish to feed them. And also another practice which was seen is the manuring. It used to be when the system functioning in pristine conditions, you put manure to increase the production of phytoplankton. But when the system is somehow created, it's not adding anything. The study which we suggest now is to leave the ponds. We don't put manure there, and we see how they can naturally produce the algae using already the nutrients already available there. When I came back from studies, one of the gentlemen was looking at this optimization of type of fish feed used, and also looking how we don't put manure, is it going to affect the production or not? This was the main idea of this type of studies, to look at the management of fish ponds, produce fish, but also we don't pollute our atmosphere. So thank you. You can have questions. This paper is available. I can share with you after this session. The floor is the question. Thank you, Dr. Venist. You can continue moderating.
A big clap for the presentation. Thank you very much. So we can have questions, direct questions, or you can type in the chat room if you are not comfortable with talking or expressing yourself. So feel free. You can receive maybe 1, 2, 3 questions and then move to the next stage. You are welcome. Before maybe I start before others may ask questions. Mine is not really related to the work you have done, but I was impressed with how the fishing system of the ponds they have, which have been there for a long time. So if there is an opportunity, do you think that the same system can be applied in Rwanda and be successful?
Yes, it can be successful. The only two things that now our small fishers are facing is fish feeds and again fingerlings. We are thinking about it. So coming helping the fishermen to establish the fish ponds. They give them the feeds, they give the fingerlings, but they don't have functional hatcheries near them so that they can be getting these seeds and also production of feeds. And also there is another project which was started in Vietnam. They to produce their fish feed. For instance, because we have tilapia. Tilapia is a vegetarian, is an herbivorous fish. You just put some manure there, then the algae are being produced in some plants. We can produce some fish feeds. Yeah, no, it's a low cost. We need maize, we need a source of energy, and then you put some source of proteins, and also you put some vitamins there. You buy the vitamins, you put there, and then you use this cassava flour to make a pellets.
Okay.
Yes.
So I ask you the question because most of the pond fish projects in Rwanda seems as they are not productive and not achieving the specific objectives.
Yeah.
So,
okay,
come on.
Yeah, it's because of these two things. They don't cater. We need to empower the small fishermen with these skills, fish feeds, and then help them to establish the hatcheries, small hatcheries. Management is not too big. We are thinking of those kind of projects, and we started some. We'll see if it can work out.
Good.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Let me give time and floor to others if they have some questions and proposal. Yes, Feroz, come on, please.
Thank you very much, Venus. Thank you very much for the presenter, Marceline. So, for your presentation, it was really nice. I was enjoying. So, my first question is, I'm just curious to know to which extent this fish farming, especially this pond fish farming, to it conforming. And the second question is recommendations would you suggest to fish farmers and even other people who want to do this farming, like recommendations to mitigate that kind of contribution to global warming? Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for saying to which extent the ones are producing some methane, and we notice that is there. A global budget, more review paper who summarize this, and they say we still need to take different systems. We go to Asian systems, we go to African, Europe, and also take different systems. We have also intended our systems like the natural nature to less product. So we studies are still there, and there is still room to do this kind of studies. And I told also there's another student looking at how our cage aquaculture are contributing in our lakes, pristine lakes. If we have compare these many studies, then we can start thinking of establishing a global inventory of methane or CO2, even nitrous emissions from the fish ponds, and then you can determine. The recommendation I've said that once already is to look how to manage the water and not to maintain too much water for a long period and let it go. There are also some studies going on. If you also want to reduce the amount of nutrients, I don't know, you can also use plotting wetlands, or you can plant other ponds below your outlet. Then you put ponds and you grow plants there, and these plants can take these excess nutrients, and this you can use for fodder. If you can even use for irrigation to produce our products. And also we said you have us to look for feeds, what the feed will eat and then consume it and release less waste, feces, which are more digestible. We call it CF, conversion rate from the food. If a fish is eating maybe 10 kgs, the waste should be less. You should increase the percentages of what is going to be digested and absorbed to produce the fish biomass, and also to produce energy for the fish to move, to reproduce, and so on. Yeah. But there are things. Another thing is also to see, also because the fish ponds are not interconnected to the catchment. So the catchment, you can see activities which are going there, which are adding more nutrients to the fish ponds, and see how you can reduce the amount and input of this type of nutrients and organic matter. And also the other one which is good here, we have this polyculture. You can see now if you can increase the polyculture now, this polyculture can be also consumed. For instance, if you have these faces, we have some other aquatic organisms that can be feeding on them and producing our biomass. This is another issue, other ideas we can look at it and try to reduce this side effect of fishing. And then we have this blue aquaculture, as they say, they call it blue aquaculture, when it's contributing to global warming. I don't know if you are satisfied.
Thank you very much. That was enough.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, very good. Edmond, come on, please.
Thank you so much for your presentation, Rutegwa.
Yeah, thank you.
Very wonderful. But I used to get a question. So my question is this: how significant are methane emission from CARP compared to other sources of methane in aquaculture?
So this I didn't go into too much details, unless if I have to go into the paper, and then I will share with the paper and then you see the discussion, because I made the comparison between other. Let me share it. I didn't want to make the presentation too big, and when I didn't want, I made a comparison between other systems with the natural systems, and also our natural, to see how they can be comparable. I can share the table when I will give you the paper, and then you can. Can you? Is it possible? Can you see the table?
Yes.
So these are the comparison. We were comparing how much of the concentration and the diffusion, and to see if there is any difference. We can see, we can put a range, and then we can classify our systems. But for sure now, something is needed to correct these systems, also because we are already experiencing a problem of eutrophication. And when you have eutrophication, they are killing the fish killings during the summertime. And even when I was sampling in one of these ponds, like the Htar, we not see much of the fish that were dying. This was enough course. You can see this our nursery ponds. We have 1.5, and then there is 2.12.2. Main, we have 0.8, and then 8.5. So you see this range. But if you go to this lake which is Siberia, this is like Boreal. The Boreal lakes are pristine. They have lower controllable emissions. But if you go to ponds like lakes in India, in the tropical, they have higher values. So we are in between. They are comparable and in between. So we have also a cube here. We compared because it was measured also I made a comment with Kivu. Actually, Kivu has less concentrations and less emissions compared to our system because it's very big. And then we have this length. The depth is longer. We said in the methane we have a big depth. The methane has a time to be oxidized. This also I forgot to talk about it. You can also inject more oxygen into when we see. You can edit the ponds when we see they're producing too much of methane, and then reduce its emission. And this is a common practice also done in the fish pond during the summer because you have too much of organic matter getting decomposed. The fish, there is a risk for the fish to die. So there is this aeration system.